Welcome to Battle for Biternia, Pixelvania expansion.
We funded edition! Hooray!
We funded edition!
Yay! This is Matt Kisner, joined as always by my longtime friend and sometimes man crush, Jonathan Teixeira Moffat. Hello, John.
Hello.
And we're joined in the background here by our audio and video sorcerer and co-developer, Aaron Fennell. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, happy to be here once again to discuss the topic of the day.
And the topic of the day is stretching. No, not the thing you should do before you go to the gym or tell someone you're going to the gym. We're talking about heroes, baby, stretch heroes, and the march towards the new and exclusive heroes we have for the Pixelvania pack. So to talk about them tonight, I'm going to start with John, and we're going to start with the first hero we have available for you. So, John, I'm going to let you spear this one because the Banshee is really your brainchild. I was involved in the weird on the back end, but this is your baby.
All right, thank you. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun playing around with ideas with little heroes that have kind of non-conventional approaches. And so I think the idea behind the Banshee was we've got some tanky heroes, we've got some brawlers, we've got some heroes that can charge and do a lot of damage. We didn't really have anyone that was reactive to fights. People that want to be in fights but don't want to control the time and want to see what's happening and react to it. And that's kind of where the idea for the Banshee coalesced around.
And you're right. That was kind of at the soul of this. How do we create a hero who is unpredictable in the way that they will react and activate, but you know what they're going to do because once they activate, they're coming for you.
Exactly. And so once we hit on that idea, that was, I think, where we kind of got started.
Okay, so A, Vengeance is spelled wrong. It doesn't have any. So what else can you expect from the Banshee besides some non-traditional activations? The Banshee is a map mobile magic damage using assassin. We're very cognizant of the fact that there are some heroes, Seraph most notably, that has physical damage resistance as part of their kit. So we're talking and thinking a lot about giving heroes magic damage because inevitably and invariably we want to give people magic defensive abilities too. Right. Anything else you want to add about the Banshee, John?
No, I think we covered it. Like we threw in a cool ability to protect her. So if you get her trapped where you don't want to be, we do have a cool ghost form ability that'll prevent her from taking damage briefly.
Yep. And she's got the Banshee Scream on the ultimate side that has some pretty strong execution power as well. So I think it is a straightforward hero in terms of what it wants to do, but that's where the straightforward in the kit ends. And that's a very John description for a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you attempt to ignore the Banshee and just wail on her friends, or just wail on a nearby tower or the bit, she will become exponentially stronger until she decides to activate and knock out the person who you were hoping to use for a knockout punch. So it gives you a nice little ace in the hole there that wasn't possible before in some cases. I like the counterplay that's available there.
Yep, that's a really good point. I think she discourages a little bully ball, which is also something we're very cognizant of. So I think that's a good overview of the Banshee. I'll take the lead on the next one if nobody objects. So the next one up here in the kit is the Fury. So as you hopefully saw from our playthrough, John and I think the Archer is a very important hero who has a very strong map presence and denial ability.
Right, exactly. And so she's kind of neat because she's both an alternate draft to the Archer, but also a counter draft because she's protected against range attacks. And then from there, she's very, very simple and easy to understand. Definitely a hero that maybe a little more work to get the most out of her than the Archer, but she's very straightforward, just like the Archer is.
Yep, yes. and against certain team comps, she's going to be really powerful because you can't target her with the ability. And I think that's where Cloak of Shadows makes this a truly unique character. This is someone who is essentially going to demand that you come up and try to deal with them, and largely has a kit based around you not being able to do so. So we've talked a lot about these map mobile assassins. These are the sorts of heroes that we're thinking about on the other side. Aaron, anything you want to add here on the Fury?
Yeah, just like when I looked at the Banshee, I thought of its defensive potential as well. There is an interesting mechanic to the Fury character in that a lot of the time when people are using the Archer, or playing against the Archer, I should say, they don't know what to do about her. Like, they see that a lot of spaces are taken apart and they're afraid to close with the Archer to kill it or make it move and therefore neutralize its power. This character has a very obvious counterplay on the card. Anybody who reads the card will see, oh, well, if she's not alone, she doesn't have her power. And they will be encouraged to close. And if you're controlling her, you will be encouraged to keep her by herself. So the card does a better job than the archer did, I think, of encouraging you to use and fight against the character correctly.
Very fair.
I like that
point.
That's a really interesting way of thinking about it. That's cool. And I do think the character has a very important role in being able to snipe down some of those tankier heroes that we've put in. And again, a neat little effect that anyone who has ever picked up a certain sheriff of a certain steampunky town will probably recognize. So up next, Aaron, I believe this is your opera magnum, your gift from the gods upon us all. So I will, with no further ado, much further ado, let you take over here and talk to us about.
I'd like to talk for just a couple minutes about the Black Knight then. The Black Knight is a character that provides additional tankiness to your team, but it doesn't do so by giving you a big ball of hit points. Like, it doesn't do what Seraph does. Seraph is sort of the archetype tank because she just has a flat defensive value, and she's always got the same flat defensive value, and she's sturdy, and she's exactly as sturdy at the beginning of the game as she is at the end of the game.
I was teaching her to call her lead butt because she just won't go anywhere. Most likely to
You're such a
tank.
dad.
But the Black Knight works a little bit differently, as you can see here. The passive we're looking at is Dark Mantle, which allows her to trade her hit points now for more shield tokens than health that she lost. And this only triggers while she has enough health to pay the cost. And this means that if she's well supported, if you can heal that hit point back, or if you can protect the shield token, she can become very difficult to deal with and become a very good tank in her own right. If, however, you allow the other team to control that the shield token generation, then it's going to make life a little harder for you. To counteract this a little bit, she has 8 hit points. You'll notice the other tanks in the set have 10. So she starts a little bit weaker, and you have to work kind of harder to get the shield tokens to pay off. But boy, they will. And so while she doesn't have a direct taunting ability, again, something Seraph would have, she does have the ability to punish you severely if you happen to ignore her. And that's sort of, I like soft taunts. The same with the Banshee. If you ignored the Banshee, she stacks up attack tokens. With this character, if you ignore the Black Knight, she'll stack up shield tokens until you wonder how you're going to deal with it. And there are ways to deal with it, don't get me wrong, but the idea that you can just ignore the heroes and beat on the towers is something that we are firmly designing counterplay strategies to. And this is
John.
That.
Okay. 10 times. 10 times.
You and your stupid pirate and your stupid ults and your stupid towers.
Nobody can make the pirate work but John.
Nobody. So I don't have a ton to add here. I think Aaron's done a really good job breaking the hero down. It is sort of the tanky foil to what the Banshee does, and I like the way Aaron described the soft taunt. I hope you guys are catching the theme that these are all characters that we tried to design to force you to engage with them, to sort of discourage more passive gameplay. And the last hero is the one that I think most strongly exemplifies this. And I want to be transparent, this is the one that we're still tinkering the most with. I think we know what we want this hero to do, but of the 4, this is the one that's still getting some tuning. So the idea on the Seraph here, and so we didn't want to say Angel, we went with Seraph. It sounds better anyway. So with the Seraph here, where all of the other heroes were really about if you don't deal with them, they do something to you, the Seraph is really sort of my magnum opera as Aaron's was the Black Knight. During the discussion and live designer discussion that we did, I talked about what my ideal hero was, and I noted that it was somebody who could sort of zip around the battlefield, enabling a lot of different status conditions and shifting the dynamic of power. Spoiler, that's exactly what the Seraph does. So this is a hero who has an awful lot of movement utility in their kit, essentially designed around being able to get to situations where they're needed, either to put a shield on someone, either on the way out, on the way in, potentially turning the dynamic of a fight. She's got a little bit of some reposition in her kit, which I'm really, really excited about. And I think she has a pretty powerful and thematic ult as well. So I'm really excited for you to see the Seraph and the potential combos I think it's going to enable. I hope you all hear this as at the end of this, we realize we designed an awful lot of heroes in this set who have really aggressive both gameplay mechanics and potential synergies with previous heroes. The Seraph is sort of our mea culpa offering on the backside, saying you could try to survive these things if you want, or you could more effectively enable them. We don't judge.
Yes, the Seraph is a very unique support for us in that the only other supports we have that are really defensively minded are the Cleric a little bit, but the Cleric gives attack tokens, and the Paladin a little bit, but the Paladin fights, and the Bard a little bit, but the Bard gives attack tokens. So the Seraph really does the defensive job of a support better than the base set heroes, or I shouldn't say better. It does it more, has a more single-minded focus on that. Yes, more clearly. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes we develop with a clear goal in mind, and I'm one step closer to finally developing a hero that truly can take no attack actions. On that note, we hope you are as excited to drive for the stretch heroes that we've previewed and teased here for you tonight as we were to develop and talk to you about them. We think they all add something unique to the various things that are going bump in the night, either from a good or bad perspective in the dark and haunted hills and caverns of Pixelvania, and we hope you get the chance to see some of the neat stuff we've done with you. So signing off here, this is Matt Kisner and my two colleagues, Aaron Fennell and Jonathan Sharamoffa from Stone Circle Games, saying good luck and happy hunting, and stay safe out there, druids. I will finally make a void hero who just exists at the bit and slowly marches forward in an unassuming and unstoppable onslaught of mediocrity.